What's up there, loves? How are you guys doing? I hope mighty well like I am. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new and you don't know who I am, my name is Charlie T. For whatever reason led you over to my channel, I'm so glad that you're watching. Please subscribe, like my videos, as long as you like it. I mean, you can dislike if you don't like it, but I prefer you like it. And comment along with sharing my content. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first one notified about my new content that I'm posting. Let's get into this video. I decided to go about asking my coworkers along with my friends and family what they had in mind in terms to their curiosity for people who test positive for HIV. So anyone who is HIV positive, what kind of questions they ever had that they felt either uncomfortable asking someone that they know is positive, or just in general questions, you know, that one may consider the basics that anyone else should know. Because let's just be honest, everyone is different. Not everyone is raised the same. Not everyone is raised in the same kind of environment, okay? A lot of people, you know, are raised sheltered and don't know a lot about different, you know, things. I had, you know, build up all these questions based on what everyone had given me. So we're gonna go one by one. At first I was gonna do parts, and then I was like, yeah, no. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it all out there to begin with. Day to day for me, taking my medicine, living my life like I normally would as if I didn't have HIV. When I had informed my friends, honestly, I didn't get any setback. They were either concerned, you know, about my well-being and to like educated them some, or others were just in general like, all right, you know, hey, it's life. They were already educated on things and they asked me certain questions, and that was that. When it comes to relationships, I was with someone who was already HIV positive, so it didn't have an effect on us in terms to him leaving or anything. I got it from that person, so if anything, it would have been vice versa, but I didn't. I didn't feel that way. Personally, I have not been antagonized for being HIV positive. Do I know of others that have? Yes, I do. Emotions at once. If you watch my previous video, my very first YouTube video of my HIV story, how I found out, how it, you know, just led to that point. I also stated there how I went from being I was just flabbergasted. Like I was dumbstruck. Like I was so shook. And then I went to be in denial. Then I went to being angry. And then I went to being sad. And then I ended up being calm, cool, collected about it, and understood what I needed to do going forward. Personally, I've only ever been on 2 different medications. It being bearable for me, yes. Honestly, with some of my friends. Of course, it was all banter. We're ever so close, and I didn't take offense to it. I mean, yeah, I may have given a side eye or two, but I knew it was not meant in that kind of way. So it was mainly like, you been getting around, like you ain't been telling us nothing, like what's going on, it's not a third. But no, outside of that, the way I make sure I change that stigmatism is just educating people, honestly, including my friends, including my family, anybody I end up dating who may not be positive. I just educate them on things. The biggest thing I've learned since becoming HIV positive, this is a good question. That's a really good one. Yeah, you got me. I've never, well, I can't say never, but it's hard to have me be ever so quiet on things, but I'm stuck. That one's got me. You know, I learned to take better care of myself, be very more attentive to my body. Mental state, it doesn't affect it anymore. It honestly isn't on my mind like that until I'm taking my medication. In terms of my physical, honestly, it doesn't affect that either. At first, it did affect me because I had symptoms prior to my treatments and everything. But outside of that, it doesn't affect me. It used to be hard. It was like, all right, I'm still trying to get comfortable with myself at this point. How do I be comfortable with someone else? But then I was like, you know what? If I were still to be someone who was negative, just like my ex was at the time, he informed me when he was positive from the very beginning, way before we even got sexual, that he was positive. I was like, I'm going to do the same thing, regardless of if he did or not. I'm going to do that same thing because that's the person I am. Even though at times it was uncomfortable, the more, like when I was uncomfortable, still trying to get there with myself, that was pretty tough. Also, in some states, it's illegal not to tell your status to someone that you're going to have intercourse with. So, by law, if you didn't, you were going to jail. In other states, it was not illegal. So, there are people out there who have not. And then there's people who have, told their status to those who've been sexual with someone. Me, on the other hand, as time went on, the more comfortable I became with myself, the more comfortable I became with sharing my status. If I was dating, talking, relationship, whatever, what have you, it felt more natural. So regardless when I was comfortable or wasn't comfortable having a conversation, it still happened prior to intercourse. The HIV community, I feel, is very there's a lot of advocates, HIV advocates, and I love it. That community is great. It's grand. In terms to the people outside of all of that, I feel it's still very minimum. A lot of people still don't feel comfortable sharing their status. They don't feel like they have any support, and they don't know anybody else or that many people who they can relate to because other people don't share their status. They don't feel comfortable. And that's all only because other people judge what they know people would judge them, or they feel certain people would judge them on things. So I feel like that part of the community can grow a lot. Part of the reason why I'm making this video, to help someone else be more vocal about their status. Hasn't been all that different, actually, to be honest with you. I wasn't too sexually active to begin with. I had different flings and stuff regarding like any kind of foreplay. No. As long as you are getting treatment, so you're going to your labs and everything, then you should eventually get to a point where you're undetectable. I'll explain later on what that is, especially once you're at that point in terms of being undetectable. You should be fine. There should be no change into how often you get sick. There should be no difference. If your immune system was great before, then you get infected, then you get diagnosed with HIV, and then you go through your treatments and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and then you become undetectable. Your immune system is just about going to be back to how it used to be prior to. You shouldn't be getting sick more often than you used to. Speaking from personal experience, I have not. Prior to being positive, before having my symptoms and everything, it's very, very rare that I get sick. When I do, I get sick, like it's really bad, but it's very rare. So once I got to that undetectable status, ever since, it's very much still the same. Honestly, because of the simple fact that I take such great care of myself, I pride myself on making sure I am careful. I have not been afraid of that. Ooh, chile. Okay, so we're all human. Please do not judge me. Do I continue using condoms? Yes. Not all the time. However, I do. And I say that only because it's only been like actual relationships. So if I trust my partner, well, we have that conversation in terms to, all right, this is where we are with things, feel comfortable not doing this, and then we move forward. Outside of that, no, I would definitely 100% full-heartedly would make sure you use condoms. Even in relationships, you just, if you have that great communication and conversation about that, then that's your choice. Doctors would say, you definitely still should, they definitely promote it, but everyone knows we're all human. Everyone makes mistakes and everyone has those days, right? Do you? Me personally, yes and no. Not intentionally. So although, yes, I do pride myself on making sure I get my medication and I take it, there's been very, very few times I have not taken it. And it wasn't intentional. It was only because so much was going on in the day. And I would think I took my medication, but turned to find out I didn't. It's very rare. And then the other time would be not realizing I ran out of my medication. Like I'd be on the last one. I would try to remember to go get my new prescription because I wasn't getting reminders at the time. There was one particular time I just knew I had to stay on top of it. And this one particular time I legit forgot that I was on my last pill. And it was the weekend. So by the time I remember, it was too late to get it that day. I had to wait till the following business day to get it. So yes, I have, but not intentionally. And if you are positive, make sure you at least have a day-to-day medication kit, so that way you remember, okay, I took this for the day. I had to do that for a while, for quite a few months to get myself back, to remembering, okay, I'm almost out of my medication. Charlie, get back on it. Like, get back to calling these people, making sure they got the refill ready. I personally had some. Prior to treatment, I had very swollen glands in both my left and my right. It was like right here, actually, very, very swollen. I also was very tired, a lot. It was a whole struggle. I was confused why I'm about passed out after going up one flight of stairs. Also, I lost a lot of weight. I also had rashes. To elaborate, prior to treatment, not everyone has symptoms or side effects at all whatsoever. Not yet. And I say yet because, I don't want to put it out to the universe that it ever would, but I won't say just like no, flat out, like as if it will never happen either. I do, in a sense of what's been put out there to the public eye. The belief that there is for sure 100% some kind of cure. I believe it when I see it, when I see true numbers, like it's out there. Many people have decided to go about taking whatever it is, a shot, a pill, or what have you. I'm personally content with continuing for now. I'm continuing what I'm doing. Nah, I'm not hop skipping skipping, diving and all of that. No, I'm in no rush. That's their choice. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. I completely understand, because playing devil's advocate, once upon a time, not long ago, I was in that same position. Like, I wasn't that way, but I had that choice. Everyone has their own decisions to make. Do they want to risk this or risk that? But to be completely honest, you can always say, I will never do this and do that, and you still end up doing things. Because truth of the matter is, regardless if a person tells you they're HIV positive, once that person tells you, at least they're being full-blown honest with you, versus you actually catching a whole different kind of STD. It'd be from somebody that knew they had it, or even if they didn't know. These other STDs are not curable as we speak right now in present tense, such as HIV, and then you're living with that. Don't just bear it on, okay, if someone says they have HIV. No, also put it out there, those other STDs, all right, the other non-curable ones. And I'm pretty sure you should know what that is. If you don't, go ahead and do your research. But for now, this is about HIV, so we're gonna focus on that. People think that you can only catch HIV, get HIV through oral sex or intercourse. They're just associating that also with being gay. And that's not true. You can also be born with HIV. There's ways such as in the straight community. It's not only the gay community. I promise you that. You can get it in the heterosexual world as well. I felt disgusted. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not. I felt disgusted because I feel like I was harder on myself than I was on my partner that I was with at that time. And that's just because that's the kind of critic I am for myself. I see myself as someone that needs to have all of these things together. And because I didn't for this time, it's like, whew, now this is my life. Do I feel that same way now? No. But I'm sure many of you also probably felt that way. And I want to say to you that everyone, again, makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. We all hold ourselves, or could hold ourselves, up to a very, very high standard. Sometimes way too high of a certain standard that you get depressed in that because you're like, oh, I can never get back to, I've been knocked down all these notches and now I can never get back to where I was going or aiming to reach. And that's not true. Now I feel grand. I love myself. I put myself first above anything else, not trying to please anybody else but myself, especially when it comes to relationships or, with anybody for that matter. I felt great. And it took a while. It took a while to get that place. Honestly, it was the same day that I found out. The tester had just told me, just think about it as if you have diabetes. It's something that you will live with the rest of your life. However, it's also something that will not kill you. So as long as you stay on top of your health, stay on top of things, keep everything right, okay? And you're good. Like, have a good diet, keep active if you can, as much as possible in any kind of way. Take your medications, and that's it. Medication that I first was on was Complera, and that was actually for the first 5 years. And although some people would say they had side effects, I personally did not. It was one pill, and actually only after about half a year of taking that medication did I become undetectable. And undetectable means there's too low of a count. Once it's below a certain number, that's when it's considered very, very, very low chance for you to give that to somebody else, especially if you're using a condom. Now, right away, I didn't. I had no friends at all whatsoever who were positive. Over the course of time, as I made new friends and new acquaintances and everything, I did meet more people who are positive. And that did make things a little bit better because although, yeah, I knew my partner at the time was positive, well, still is, but my partner at the time was positive, I couldn't relate to anybody else outside of him of questions that I had or of things that, I'm going through or, things of that nature. Versus now, and it's even more better because I made it like 7 years in a much greater space, being positive and then able to talk to those friends who either, were positive there after me or around the same time as me, but that I just met later on in life. We're able to connect in so many other different ways and just help each other out. So becoming HIV positive, I will always 100% tell people it has changed my views of life, 100%. So before I was positive, I was living day to day, which I do now, but I didn't really live my life to the fullest day to day. So when I say day to day, I was living day to day. Like it is what it is, it ain't what it ain't. But now I live day to day on terms to taking advantage of everything that I can, doing what I want in life. So as if I can, do it. And I just tell people you gotta live as if you're dying tomorrow or you're dying at night. Like you gotta live life to the fullest and don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something. If you want to do it, if it's something you truly want to do and put your mind to it, then take action. Go forth and do it. Yes, you can have children if you are HIV positive. Hence, there are children born with HIV. Several conversations I've been having with friends who are also positive and have stated, recently that it is possible. In what ways, I don't know. I personally have not looked into that. I personally am going towards the option of adoption one day. So yeah, that's the route I'm going. So you start off seeing your doctor every 6 months, and then he eventually goes to once a year. So I was doing labs every 6 months for actually the first 4 years of being positive. After a while, after those 4 years, I went down to going once a year. When the doctor sees that you're consistent with, your viral loads and everything are good, your T-cell count are good, you don't need to go get seen as often. Now, the reason why it took so many years was because during the duration of that time, I had moved, so I had to start the simple process all over again with a different specialist in a different location. So let me tell you that coming from insurance health background, it is absolutely insane how a lot of insurance, like different types of insurance, does not cover HIV medication at least a good 80%. Some does, some actually do. Very rare. I've never seen one that covered 100%, but it's very few that would even cover 50% at all, including my own. So speaking from a sense of how it works in the United States, in certain states there are, manufacturing coupons and different supplement programs. So basically it's not technically is second insurance, but it's like a supplemental insurance to if you have a main insurance, you'll get covered. Now, how it works for states, I'm pretty sure if you have state insurance, I think in that sense, it does actually cover you for the medication. But if you are going, like if you have insurance from your job, or you're paying for your own insurance, oh baby. You are in store for a rude awakening. If you didn't know before, you know now. I'm telling you, make sure that you look into supplemental, kind of a supplemental insurance or any kind of coupon so you can get the rest of that majority covered. Because just on my recent medication alone, my recent pickup, that supplement saved me over $3,000. It paid for the rest of my medication because my insurance barely touched a dime. I personally don't have any issues with it. I can't really speak on somebody else's experience. Based on my own, I will say the process at first, it took a while. It kind of disturbed me why it took a bit of time just to get to start my medication. Because after I found out that I was positive, it then gets sent to the lab. So I got it at a health center, then gets sent over to a lab that they're partnered with. After that, they send it over to a hospital and they schedule an appointment. That appointment was scheduled almost a month out. Then afterwards, I had labs. They have to go through a process of like seeing what medications will work with you. And then afterwards, which was only like maybe 2 to 3 weeks later after that, I then start medication. If the medication works, they have different options, so they have to see what for sure will work for your body. Assuming that it works for your body, which in my case, thankfully it did, I was good. Now, over the course of the years, you know, depending on if you have a one pill or not, because some medications actually have side effects. Over the course of time, I think now majority of medications don't really have as much. I know before they did. None of mine personally that I've taken have. So I started off on Complara, now I'm on, for almost 2 years now, I've been on Odefsey, and I don't have any issues, thankfully. But yeah, in terms to the beginning of the process for the treatment, I will say it took a bit of time. It made me feel a bit of a ways, but I understood why they had to, you know, do it that way to a degree, but I feel like it could have been done. Part of me feels like it could have been done in a short amount of time in that beginning process. But outside of that, I don't have any personal issues against it and how that works. In terms of the funds and how that works on the medications, in terms of the treatments, I do feel that that needs to improve because not everywhere has the resources to go about, you know, treatment. Some people have to go, if they live in rural areas, they have to go really, really far just to get some kind of treatment. And, you know, and I'm speaking kind of vague, really more so, especially speaking for different countries, certain countries if you're not in the United States. But even within the United States, there are a lot of areas too that don't have the resources to be able to do many things that major cities are able to do. And I feel like that does need to change and needs to improve a lot, especially if we have the funds, although they do go to somewhere else. Why that is the case, I don't know. I really feel that it needs to be spoken about more, and hopefully with this new president, things change. We shall see. I'm not gonna dive too much into that part. All right, guys, that was the very last question. I really do hope this questionnaire helped any of you guys that had these sort of questions. Please don't forget to press that like below. Please subscribe if you have not already. View my other videos and look forward to seeing you guys again. Hopefully you guys look forward to seeing me again with my next video. Don't forget to press that notification bell if you have not already. Until next time, see you guys later.